Testing, 1, 2P. Wherever you live, Merry Christmas, and may this year bring you an amazing amount of good luck and cheer. Sony a7Riii, in my opinion, one of the best cameras on the market. The other interesting thing is I've got one right now. Actually, you're watching from it. So we've come out to pretty much Kangaroo Point. We're going to see what this baby can do. I've heard some pretty good things about the colour, dynamic range, and in general just amazingness. So let's see what we can do with it. As far as cameras that do everything, I think the a7Riii has pretty much most of the competition beat. You've got nice high frame rate, 10 FPS on continuous high. You have silent shooting, a really nice 425 phase detect autofocus points, and really nice video quality. Realistically, if you want anything that can do everything, maybe this is the camera for you. Just got home after going out and trying the camera out for a few hours, all of the day, and I mean my camera gets scattered around the room and it's dark and I'm super tired, which is why I'm squinting for most of this video. But yo, check it out! The Sony a7Riii has just started to be getting received around the world, but guess what? I have one right here. Naturally, I had to get some good glass. So I have the Zeiss 24-70mm f4. It's a great all-round lens, native optical steady shot inside, and you know, naturally amazing Zeiss build quality. Other than that, you know, standard practice. Got yourself a Sony nifty 50 f1.8. It's actually really quite good and quite light. Anyway, enough talk about glass. This is Sony's new flagship. Cream of the crop. Big megapixels and small noise. I mean, overall on the outside, not much has really changed. I mean, apart from some special additions. I mean, well, the body is mostly A9 here. Well, actually it's almost identical. Specs wise, this camera shares a lot of the same internals as the previous, but with some much needed major refreshing. For starters, a huge 42 megapixel sensor is the same as what's in the R2. But the new LSI chip allows faster readout times, actually almost doubled. This means fast processing and of course less noise. Speaking of noise, there isn't much of it. ISO 12800 still looks quite good. 25600 is still okay. And that burst rate. 10 FPS set with full AF. And of course we've got silent shooting, which it offers, well, silent shooting, I guess. Not really much there. Oh, isn't that odd? All that speed would be pretty much useless if we didn't have some sort of AF system. And this thing right here, it's got... Actually, it's kind of heavily borrowed from the Sony A9, really. 425 contrast detect, yeah, whatever. 399 phase detect, that's where it's at. And guess what? You can use all of them with adapted lenses now at up to 3 FPS. And it uses the new increased, or rather bettered, IAF as well. 5-axis stabilization is actually pretty much the same, but they've added an extra stop of stabilization. Well, at least that's what they say. In the real world testing, I find it to be pretty damn good. I mean, when you mix it with this lens, you do get both steady shots, and it's pretty hard to go wrong with. You're probably going to notice the stabilization a bit more in movie mode, but even handheld, you do notice a difference. I found myself able to shoot pretty decently with up to 1 second of exposure time, just handheld, no tripods here. Speaking of the movie mode, obviously you've got full frame 4K, but it's improved. The a7Riii wasn't really too fussed on it. This one's a lot better. But of course you've got the Super 35 crop mode, which offers 5K readouts, downscale. Oh, and don't forget the 1080p 120 FPS. Super buttery smooth. To go with this new increased video emphasis, Sony's also introduced some new picture profiles, including S-Log 2 and 3. For those of you who don't know what S-Log is, essentially they're flat picture profiles which out of the camera look pretty bad, but they allow the maximum flexibility when you're correcting it in post. Obviously amongst the S-Log we've now got HLG, which is actually the native HDR picture profile. So now you've got the better autofocus, better image quality, much better movie mode. Well, you've got to store it somewhere, and that's where the dual card slots come in. Dual card slots are it might not seem a lot about having dual cards, but when you use dual cards for the first time and then go back to single card slots, you realize how much you're missing out. Whether it be an expensive wedding shot where you want to make a backup so you save a copy to each memory card in case one fails, or if you want to do stuff like split it so the movies go on one card, the photos go on the other, or when you want to have JPEG on one, RAW on the other, you can do all that. It's completely programmable, and in my opinion, all cameras should have dual card slots. But of course, everyone who's watching this will be like, Brent, I don't care about the pixel performance. What's the battery life like? Well, it uses A9 battery, which is bloody good. 2.2 times the real world capacity. To put that into layman's terms, I shot about 300 photos and I used about 20%, if not less. And that was shooting 4K video for half of it as well. Oh, speaking of outside changes, apart from the chunkier body, look at this! The record button is in a spot that isn't where you hold the camera. And this nipple on the back used to change focus points, and it's a button too. I mean, it works quite well. You just have to use it to understand. But of course you buy a camera for the image performance. It'd be no good having something that looks good and has a record button but shoots in 144p. Well, actually the out of camera JPEGs actually look pretty good. There's a gorgeous amount of dynamic range. The colours look pretty good as well. Well done, Sony. Of course you have that amazing low light performance, which once you use it for the first time and you see the images that come out and you look with your eyes and realise that there's less light that your eyes can see than the camera sensor, it's just something crazy about it. As you can see, this shot here was done at full night, and pretty much the only light in this scene was just the fairy lights draped through the trees. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's my first summary of the Sony a7Riii. Yeah, I can't really say much apart from this could be one of the best cameras that I've seen so far. I mean, I would even be slightly inclined to say I would probably give this Brent's Camera of 2017 award, whatever that means. As always, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think of this slightly different sort of review style technique. I really quite enjoy seeing new technology and where it's coming. In terms of mirrorless cameras, they've come so far in the past couple years. But as always guys, I hope to see you in the next video, so stay tuned and I'll see you in the next one.
Let it go, make my body go, make our bodies higher and higher.